DAERA on the areas of natural constraint. Members will find a DAERA memo on page 18 of their packs, an extract from the Minister's response to issues raised on the 10th of November on page 20 of your pack, and then in the table papers there is NIAPA's response to the funding announcement on page 268 of the table pack, Belfast Hill Farmers' response on 269, and the UFU response on page 270. I'd like to welcome Mark McLean and Paul Caskey to give their briefing, and Oliver and myself as Chair and Deputy Chair met with the officials yesterday as well. So if you want to take a few minutes and
yes, thank you, Chair.
Remarks.
Thank you for the invitation. I'll just make a brief statement, just updating the committee, and then happy to take questions.
Okay.
So we're talking about the future support to areas of natural constraint. An extensive consultation exercise was completed earlier this year on options for future support to areas of natural constraint. Following this, the Minister McElveen announced that there would be no Pillar 1 A and C scheme or a scheme funded by a Pillar 1 to Pillar 2 transfer. Having carefully considered the remaining options, the Minister proposed a one-year A and C scheme worth £8 million and announced that decision on the 7th of December 2016. This is £8 million more than would have been paid on SDA land had the Minister not intervened. This is because the existing A&C scheme was programmed to run for 2 years and will end this year. The committee was formally written to on the morning of 7th December advising of the Minister's decision. Subject to the outcome of the Executive's ongoing budget exercise, the funding will be met from within existing departmental resources. The Minister will now bring this matter to her Executive colleagues to seek their approval. The one-year scheme will form part of the Rural Development Programme. Therefore, the Department will consult the RDP Monitoring Committee before seeking approval for an a Rural Development Programme modification from the EU Commission. The papers regarding this modification issued to the Monitoring Committee on Thursday, the 8th of December. Subject to the necessary agreements, claims will be made to this transitional scheme in 2017 and payments made in 2018. The scheme will provide time for farmers in the severely disadvantaged area to adjust, while recognising that the SDA as a whole is benefiting from year-on-year increases in Pillar 1 payments under the move towards a flat rate for the basic payment scheme. The Pillar 1 payment going to the SDA region has increased by around €4 million per year from 2014. By 2019, the increase will be €20 million, which is about £17 million at current exchange rates, compared to the 2014 level. SDA farmers can also benefit from other schemes that can support their businesses, namely Farm Business Development Investment Scheme that has now opened, or the Environmental Farming Scheme that will open next February. So that's the background. Happy to discuss any issues with yourself and the committee members.
We had asked for responses from the farming stakeholders from NIAPA, UFU and the Belfast Hill Group. They have expressed some concerns around the budget and also the one-year period, and UFU and NIAPA have both expressed concerns around the process of redesignating ANCs being halted as well in conjunction with that. They are also pointing out that the transfer to the flat rate, it doesn't quite reach the equivalence until 2019, and remarks are being made that maybe that could be considered to extend the ANC scheme to 2019. There's any comments on any of those?
Well, maybe starting at the last point about extending the scheme. Now, the decision is that it will be a one-year scheme, but it is there to ease adjustment. Actually, again, we'll point out that in 2018, when you combine the money transferring to the SDA as a whole as a result of the basic payment scheme and this 8 million, you actually come up with a sum of money that's not very far away from what the ANC payment itself would be. So it does go a long way to smoothing the transition, although I recognise that it doesn't completely eliminate a slight dip in monies going to the SDA. At the same time, we have to recognise that the basic payment scheme payments going to the DA and load is decreasing over this period. So SDA farmers are maintaining their share of total support if you were to add basic payment scheme and ANC together. On the designation, yes, a decision has been made to stop the designation under the EU regulation. The points being on that are that this was really an EU initiative. It was required if ANC scheme was to continue. Since it won't continue, then it's not necessary to do that, and we can operate this one-year scheme under the existing severely disadvantaged area boundaries. Also, the UK referendum result has a bearing here. Since we're leaving the EU, there is less significant that we have the ANC designation according to EU rules in place.
And the Belfast Hill Group, they have just asked for clarification. The final payment would be March 2018.
Yes, the final payment will be commenced in March 2018 on claims that are made as part of the single application process in spring 2017.
David?
Thanks, Chair. First of all, I should redeclare my interest in an SDA piece of land. You've just said that the sum of money will not be far away in 2019 from what it would be. Can you give us the exact figures as to what it would have been and what it will now be, please?
Well, yes, I'll ask my colleague Mark to...
Well, the amount of money going into the SDA region as a whole as a result of cap reform and moving towards a flat rate is 4 million increase in euros per year, and that started in 2015. So in 5 years' time, in 2019, that would be 20 million euros, which at current exchange rates would be around 17 million sterling. The previous budget for the ANC scheme was 20 million in sterling.
So a 3 million sterling deficit.
Yes.
Right. You also started off your presentation, Paul, by referring to the committee being written to on the morning of the 7th of December. Could you give us any indication as to how many members the department thinks would have been likely to have accessed the information from the committee office in about the hour between you sending that email and you issuing the public press release?
Well, I can't answer that question, Mr. Ford, but...
Well, in that case, would you take back that question to the Minister's private office and say that as a member of this committee, and I suspect other members of the committee may agree with me, I take a dim view of the continuous way in which the Minister and the Department treat this committee, which has a legal duty to advise and assist, and is currently not being treated in that way?
Well, we're here today to address your questions.
No, you're here today 8 days late to address the questions.
Yeah, but the scheme itself will run in 2018.
We're here today 8 days after the general public was informed to inform the committee. We've just had a presentation from the TB Strategy group a detailed presentation a few hours before their public presentation, entirely contrary to the way the department operates in a number of areas, not all of which are your responsibility, but you happen to be the unfortunate DAERA official who's sitting at the end of the table when this point comes up.
I think your point was already relayed by the clerk to the...
Well, I would appreciate it if you would relay it back as well.
The committee has expressed their concerns previously, and we do recognise that you're here as the department officials, and we will relay our concerns again.
You also highlighted a number of other schemes which farmers in SDA could benefit from. None of them, as far as I'm aware, are only available to farmers in SDA areas.
No, that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Anyone else?
Just as one issue, and I think I can deal with it through the chair and writing to the minister to explain a letter that's in the correspondence.
Okay. Do you want to make reference to it now? No?
Well, the letter dated the 15th from the minister back to the last chair of the committee. No, move on, and I'll get it fixed, but it's in there anyway. The minister made, I'll quote out of it, I wrote down here, nor was there any justifiable reason why this mechanism was needed for a particular subsection of the rural population given the existence of the broader welfare regime.
Okay, I've got it now. Okay.
And I think that
Page 21 of your main pack.
I think that needs to be explained. If we could write a letter and ask for explanation of that there.
Okay.
Because the broader welfare regime, was that taken before the new welfare system, the new welfare system is coming in, rather than the old one.
Okay.
And I think that's got,
Explanation, yeah.
that particular thing's got ramifications for the industry. If we're seeing it now, we're looking at basically money going out and what money you're already earning. Everything else has got ramifications for people working part-time or anything on the farm now.
Okay. That's grand. We will do that. Look, thank you for your presentation. We will pass on those letters to the department, the responses that we've received, and perhaps write to the minister and reflect the concerns that are being expressed in those.
Thank you, Chair.
The next item on the agenda was the committee priorities in terms of waste management. If members are happy to deal with that now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this in closed session.
Assembly Committee Room